Okay, let's get started. I hope everyone has had a great afternoon or evening or morning, wherever you guys are. And we will be getting started with our final presentation. Let me just clear the annotation. Thank you so much for participating in that. Okay, great. So let's get started. So as a reminder, we are all inside the Future of Aging track. Not only are we the biggest track, but we also have the most number of teams. And I think that just goes to show how important it is for us to address this problem of aging and also be able to think of new innovative solutions to help elderly populations. Now, just as a recap of what we've done just over this past weekend, we have pitched and mixed on Friday. We have hacked on our problems, received feedback, and iterated multiple times throughout Saturday and Sunday. And now finally, we get to celebrate our hard work by presenting. As a quick reminder, our judging criteria will be based on your impact, your innovation, your business model, and your presentation. So please keep that in mind as you are starting your presentations for today. As for our prizes, we are under track C, Future of Aging. So we will have a first place, second place, and third place. And then we also have awards from InterSystems Healthcare Technology Challenge, as well as the Brigham Health POPI Prize for Best Innovative Hack to Improve Lives of People with Opioid Abuse Disorder. We also have Path Check Foundation offering a $500 award for track D, which we are unfortunately not a part of. We want to specifically thank our partners and sponsors of Grand Hack 2020. Especially, we wanted to give a shout out to Sanofi, Genzyme, Mihai, and InterSystems for sponsoring this track. Now, we would like to introduce our judges. So when we call your name, if judges, you could please introduce yourself. Duke Collier.
Sorry, I was on mute. So Duke Collier, I am a long time person in the healthcare world, and I'm working at Benchmark Senior Living, where my focus is on innovation, particularly in the care of patients with dementia and assisting their families and caregiving.
Thank you, Duke. Next, we have Richard Dale.
Hi, I'm Richard Dale. I'm with Optum Labs in the Boston area. We're a research and innovation collaborative working with real-world data to improve healthcare. Before Optum Labs, I was in the venture world for several years, and before that, an entrepreneur. This is my third or fourth time here judging at Grand Hack.
Thank you, Richard. Next up, we have Jatin Dave, who I believe is not here at the moment. Next, we have Drex DeFord.
Hi, Drex DeFord. I'm a longtime healthcare CIO in the U.S. Air Force, Scripps Health, Seattle Children's, Stewart Healthcare in Boston, and now a recovering CIO, independent consultant with my own practice in Seattle, Washington.
Thank you, Drex. Next up, we have Sophie Gazel.
Hello, I'm Sophie Gazel. I work at Merck, the pharmaceutical company. I'm in global partnerships with a focus on digital health solutions and innovative commercial models. Very much looking forward to your pitches today, and I'm joining you from London.
Thank you, Sophie. Next up, we have Julie Smith.
Hi, I'm Julie. I'm with InterSystems, and this will be my second time judging. I work at the juncture of where clinical information meets health IT and how we can better treat patients across the continuum of care, and a nurse by training.
Thank you, Julie. Next up, we have Alex Zender.
Yes, hi, I'm Alex. I lead the global oncology franchise at Sanofi Genzyme based in Cambridge. And as you know, cancers and aging are very closely related. So I'm looking forward to your pitches today.
Great. Please give a big round of applause, virtual applause, for our judges. Thank you so much for volunteering your time here for today, and we hope you enjoy our presentations. Next up, we will be going over some final presentation logistics. We will have 3 minutes for your pitch and then 2 minutes of Q&A afterwards. You can cue us to let us know when to switch to the next slide by either saying next or clicking the Go Faster button. So I will demonstrate for you the Go Faster button. If you click on participants on your Zoom window, it should be towards the bottom. And then you should see next, underneath the list of participants, you can see a Go Faster button. Can everyone see that? It's just a Go Faster button next to my name under the participants window. So when I click the Go Faster button, Julia will be going on to the next slide for me. So Julia just switched to the next slide and then she will clear my response. Now, we would like you all to also participate in this demonstration just to make sure you understood that. So if everyone can please click the Go Faster button. Okay, we see about half of you guys being able to navigate to that button. Okay, so we have about half of you. Hopefully that half is will be using the Go Faster button. If you have any other questions, feel free to let us know. Otherwise, you can also use, just verbally say next if you prefer to use that. Now, if Julia could go to the next slide and then clear your responses. Great, so in terms of the presentation format, we will not announce what team is coming up until about 5 minutes before. And we will do so by first announcing, for example, Team A, and then we will say, coming up, we have this team. And in this case, our first team presenting will be Team 13, 10 Health. So Team 13 can start getting ready, but we still have a few more logistics to go through. And then when Team 13 starts presenting, we will also announce who is up next on deck.
Jenny, one quick question. We're Team 13. Just one quick question around the Go Faster button. As soon as we click it, it remains on because we were practicing with it. Are you gonna clear it after the slide goes to the next, or do we have to turn it off and then turn it on again as I just did?
Yes, Julia will clear it for you, so you do not have to worry about that.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So if anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask that inside the chat. And then we will start talking a little bit about the Zoom etiquette if Julia can go to the next slide. So Zoom etiquette, unless you are presenting, please have your microphone muted. If you are able, please have your camera on. This will result in a much better experience for both the audience as well as the presenter. Please, unless you are presenting, do not press the Go Faster button. If you are presenting, or if you're pressing the Go Faster button for someone else, please let Julia know in advance so she knows to watch out for that. Otherwise, we may have some confusion if other people are pressing Go Faster and we're not sure who to look for. Please keep public chat messages to a minimum during the presentation in order to avoid distraction. However, after the presentation, we encourage you to just say congratulations in the chat, or that was a great idea, great pitch, just to help. I'm sure the presenter will appreciate that. If you're able, please do not leave the meeting until after you are done presenting, so as a common courtesy to all of the presenters. So next up, we will go on to the actual presentations. So if Team 13 can get ready and present, and then Team 15 will be on deck. Okay, and I will be timing Team 13 whenever you're ready. Feel free to start.
Luke, you ready?
Yep, all set.
Hello, everyone. We're 10 Health. And this is Jenny, my 88-year-old grandma that was living by herself in Denver. And this past summer, she fell. On any given day, this is what her caregiving network looks like. We have different physicians. We have her daughter in Santa Clara, myself in Boston, her son in Chicago, nurses, state-sponsored caregivers, and she has to take different types of medicine. And the way we communicate is very convoluted. We actually found out that she had fallen thanks to the neighbors that saw an ambulance outside of her house. And this is not a problem that only affects Jenny. 1/3 of all malpractice claims are due to breakdowns in communication and a lack of coordination in care. This results in over $420 million in cost to the system every year. And to the families, a 75% increase in cost for that patient's care.
So our proposed solution is in a platform manner to improve that coordination across disciplines with a patient-centered model. So in our case, Jenny, where we'll be able to improve that communication between all the different specialties and all the people providing care and all of her family members. Next slide, please. What that would look like in our model is two major pieces, one being the platform, which you see indicated here by the cell phone, and then also with a HIPAA-compliant RFID band, particularly for those older adults that don't want to interface with the healthcare system. In Jenny's case, this will create a logbook of what happens to her when she goes to the emergency room, what she's diagnosed with, so all of her different specialists know about what's going on, and keeps the family members in the loop in terms of her disposition, where she's going, what kind of progress she's making as she goes through the rehab process. So everybody is all on the same page with this logbook feature of the platform. Our business model is broken down into 3 phases. In our near-term phase, we will have this wearable ID band, which will be available for purchase. Our target audience will be towards those family members who are taking care of the older adult and who want more visibility of their health care. We'll demonstrate that this is improving not only cost savings for the healthcare system, but improving the family's visibility of what's going on and reduce the barriers and burdens in communication. In long term, this will mean a subscription fee that will be our revenue stream. So thank you for your time. We are Tin Health.
Okay, now for Q&A, if judges can raise their hand. Richard?
Hi, very clear on the problem, but I'm not quite understanding the purpose and the point of the RFID band.
Yeah,
Think about
so
it.
just
Go
to elaborate a little bit on that further, we understand that a lot of older adults don't integrate and use smartphones where our platform will be based on. The RFID band will have a QR code that can be scanned by whatever healthcare or caregiver is interacting with the adult at that time to synchronize with the platform.
And also the origination of the idea behind the RFID ban is when older adults show up to the ER. Oftentimes they don't know why they're there. They don't know their medical history. So by a simple scan of the RFID ban, the ER doctors will be able to tell just the most critical information, but beyond that also pull down some of the social determinants of health that their home caregiving team has offered and added to the platform as well.
We have a question from Sophie.
Yes, so quick one. If you're collecting data on the person's vitals, what data are you communicating back to their caregivers or to the care team, and how will you do that triage? I'm just assuming a physician doesn't want to get a constant stream of data to them. Have you thought about that?
So one of the things that we will be doing is actually catering that data to the different physicians that will need that data. So when she gets to the ER, the physician at the ER might not need all her vitals, but he might be interested in what allergies and what medication she's on. On the other hand, the nurses will need to see, for example, if she's experiencing any discomforts, if her vitals have been off.
Thank you. That's all we have for today.
Thank you.
Thank you to Team 13. Next up, we have Team 15. And if Team 21 can start getting ready.
Hello, we're Team Forget Me Not, and we'll be talking about creating an at-home test for the early diagnosis of Alzheimer's disease. I came to this problem because my grandma passed away 4 years ago after a long struggle with dementia. Her whole life was stored in her memories, and Alzheimer's and the dementia that it causes took that away. There is no cure for dementia, but by catching it early, we can mitigate many of the risk factors and help Alzheimer's patients to strengthen pathways in their brain to postpone the onset of serious symptoms. I worry about my parents and what the genetic basis for certain dementias might mean for them as they get older, and I'm not alone in this. As our population gets older, there will be a lot of people in my shoes, hoping that their loved ones won't develop Alzheimer's and wondering if they will. By 2050, Alzheimer's could cost the healthcare system $1.1 trillion and affect almost 14 million people. To address this, we're proposing a care kit with a two-pronged approach. We have integrated a self-developed biomarker test and an app-based cognitive test to identify risk factors. Just download the app and order the test kit package, and we will let you know your next steps from there.
Recent studies have shown that a leaky blood-brain barrier acts as a biological marker, serving as an early sign for cognitive dysfunction and eventually Alzheimer's. We seek to design a small molecule which will traverse through the blood circulation and get into the brain, only in case of a compromised BBB. An enzyme found specifically in the brain will metabolize this molecule, which will then be detected in a simple urine test. The samples can be shipped and the results can be viewed in a user-friendly app. Next, please.
For the app, there will be interactive memory quizzes that has a machine learning background to monitor cognitive performances, which the data from this quiz will be correlated with the BBB test to further enhance the detection of Alzheimer's before cognitive decline and make the test more accurate, valid, and significant. In addition, the user can order the BBB test kits and view the results of the test through the app. Next, please. So how are we different from our competitors? Firstly, our platform combines BBB tests with the app and its quizzes, therefore making predictions more valid and significant than other tests in the market. Secondly, the user can gain easier access to quicker diagnostics from the app quiz calculated by AI, thus reduces the burden of going to the hospital. Next, please.
We will be charging $100 per care kit. We are asking for $1 million for preclinical R&D validation and assay development. We are open to partnering with pharma and Medicare Advantage and licensing our technology. Our app will be ready first, generating revenue as we validate our test. Next, please.
Thank you from Team Forget Me Not, and we would like to take any questions at this point.
Thank you. 2 minutes of Q&A, starting with Alex.
Yes, hi. Can you talk to me a little bit more about the BBB test? You know, in what stage is it? How validated is it? How much more research is needed to establish it?
Yeah, so there's like a couple of reports recently where they have shown that BBB is an important factor generally in case of cognitive decline. And it is like shown very, very earlier than typical biochemical markers which are currently used for Alzheimer's detection. So what we propose is like using that as a model to identify molecules which will go into the brain in a compromised patient and which can be detected in a simple urine test such that the patient does not really have to get away from his house and, the results could be like easily seen via the app.
Next up, we have a question from Richard.
Hi, on the digital diagnostic, how validated is that, please?
From the digital diagnostic from the mobile app, the questions that was selected and then transformed into the quizzes are from the mini mental state exam, which we change it to be more interactive. Therefore, we believe that the test is validated. And also, however, the machine learning model we still need to develop on. We still need to some more progress, and then we still need development on the machine learning to predict the outcome for Alzheimer's.
We're also hoping that by correlating the cognitive test with a physical biomarker, that we'll be able to get a good idea of the progression of the disease.
Thank you. That is all the time we have for today. Thank you to Team 15. Next up, we have Team 21. And then if Team 61 can start getting ready.
Hello, we are Team Blackjack, and we developed a platform for more precise tracking of Parkinson's that we're calling ParkCam. Parkinson's is an alarmingly prevalent disease in the modern age. I think that if you don't know Parkinson's by the numbers, you probably know someone who is affected by it.
Okay.
And lack of effective mechanisms to track the progression of the disease leads to poor patient outcomes such as dementia and lack of mobility. So our platform seeks to collect patient data, run machine learning models on that data to generate insights, and share that information with patients, caregivers, and providers to radically improve patient outcomes. Our platform will seamlessly integrate with telehealth services and collect patient facial imagery, train machine learning models to detect key indicators of disease progression from that facial imagery, as well as connect with existing wearable APIs to further train those models. And insights from those machine learning models will be shared with physicians, caregivers, and of course their patients to improve patient outcomes. Our user interface for the app will seamlessly integrate with telehealth services, as well as provide an interface for tracking of insights that can help doctors see the progression of the disease over time, and for patients and caregivers to also have insights into the progression of their own disease. Our business strategy is very patient-centric, so our application will be free for patients. There will be a free tier for providers that will be a basic web application, and our free premium tier will come with 24/7 IT support, as well as full integration with the provider's EHR via a smart app on Fire. We'll also partner with industry to provide them with anonymized data for their own research and development. So the big picture of what we're hoping to achieve: we're hoping to empower providers with more precise mechanisms to track the progression of Parkinson's disease, and this will increase quality of life and improve patient outcomes. And of course, our app will seamlessly integrate into the mission-critical telehealth technologies that our patients are relying on in a pandemic to maximize end-user experience. We're just going to quickly thank our amazing mentors. And then here's the team, and we're ready to take any questions you have. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. Now for 2 minutes of Q&A. If any judge wants to start. Okay, Richard?
Hi, you talk about providers paying.
Mm-hmm.
I think generally my experience has been that providers don't pay for these kind of things, and I don't know whether you need to think about pharma or payers. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. And I think collaborating with insurance companies is also a great avenue for a business plan.
Next, we have a question from Alex.
Yeah, question on the facial recognition. Is this something that is already established? I mean, the software, the AIs, or is this something that you would need to build for that?
Yeah, this is something that exists not for this particular application of Parkinson's, but in various other disease detection states. And we have a number of resources, if we bump to the last slide, that identifies that there are indicators, markers, that if we apply the machine learning will work.
Alex, do you have another question? Any other questions from our judges? Okay, thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
21. And then if we can move on to team 61, and then team 34 will be on deck. So with team 61, our presenter chose not to use slides. So if everyone can switch to presenter mode, we would highly appreciate that to help optimize your experience. Team 61, whenever you're ready.
Imagine becoming aphasic now. Imagine dementia becoming evident only after a spouse dies. Imagine a head injury caused by tripping on a throw rug. But we don't need to imagine. We know this is real. Disability happens unexpectedly in spurts before it is supposed to. A person becomes dependent with no plan in place, without considering preventative measures that may have helped, without being able to say, I don't want any family help. Put me in a nursing home. Or, I hope you'll help me to stay in my home or yours. Let's talk about this. Proactive planning, a platform for positive outcome, is the solution. Proactive planning is about filling the gap between living well and living will. A nuanced care plan for life, a plan for prevention, a plan for action, a plan that is written down. The market is the largest imaginable, every single one of us. Proactive planning is a collaborative, informative, gently guided platform that asks the questions we may not want to think about and helps us to come up with our solutions. Proactive planning consists of an app, a website, a connection to an umbrella of resources, a connection to people, to live role models who can show how they are making the best of their situation. Caregiver role models who can show the pleasure and the honor and the frustrations and how they work past them. Individual role models who are making it work. A platform which will help a person to have it their way, to remain captain of their own ship. A resource, a portal, a way to connect, something to inspire thinking about the difficult questions before they are answered for us. A way to light a fire under us that propels us to action now, that propels us to consider safety before we wish we had, to make our environment safe, to develop safe habits proactively. We make living wills, but how about living until? My team could not be more diverse, consisting of the top experts in the field, the patients, the families, the students that I have had the honor to work with for the past 30 years as rehabilitation physician and professor. We are all stakeholders. We are the demographic. Think about your family and think about how you can help as a partner in making proactive planning accessible and profitable for all. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you, number 61. Now we'll take 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges. First up, Sophie.
Yes, thanks for this. So 2 questions. Who's your main audience? Is it caregivers, the family? And 2, how will you drive them to your platform? I understand it's mostly a communication platform, correct?
It is a communications platform with guided questions that will lead people to asking the right questions and coming up with the answers for themselves. And the audience could be the person themselves, ideally. It also would be something we would publicize to social workers, caseworkers, people in general. This applies to all of us. Does that answer your question, Sophie?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the judges? We can take one more.
Well, thank you to everyone for listening, and I look forward to your ideas and suggestions.
Thank you.
We have a question from Alex.
Oh, it looks like we have time for one more question. And Alex, you can answer your question or ask your question.
Yeah, I'm not clear. Can you explain me what the business model would be?
The business model would be the availability of this app, website, and organization. This could be structured as part of an existing nonprofit or as a for-profit with people paying for the opportunities. Or if we have someone that could fund it, it can be done that way.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Alex.
Number 61, and then if team 34 can start getting ready, and then team 41, a cup of tea is up on deck.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Okay, so welcome all. We are Wise Walker, where a fall is not an option. Next. So here's my grandma, who's 73 years old. She lives in an independent living facility with no constant care. She has limited mobility, which has led her to decreased muscle strength, and this has resulted her in experiencing several falls in the past year. And one fall has resulted in her having a fractured hip. So she now has a hip replacement. However, she's worried about falling and getting injured again. Next. Next. Yeah. So what if there was a way to predict, if you can go back, please. So what if there was a way to predict her fall before it happens? So here's where we come in. We are Wise Walker, a smart insole using off-the-shelf sensors to monitor your walking over time and detect trends of unstable gait with respect to your cadence, stride length, and swing velocity, which will then alert your caretaker by connecting to their mobile app. So our solution is very usable as the smart insole fits into an orthopedic shoe. Next. So how does this work? So say this patient is my grandma, then her gait data will be collected from the smart insole, which will be used to track her walking pattern over time, say over a week. So her data will then be fed into a predictive machine learning algorithm, which will then look for trends of unstable gait behavior. And if a certain threshold of instability is passed, then the system will notify her caregiver to take preventative actions, such as recommending the use of a walker. Next. So here are some of the competitors we have. Compared to other approaches, our solution not only predicts the future risk of falling, but it also alerts the caretaker. And we estimate that the cost of fabrication to be around $100 to $200. Also, our solution is non-invasive in terms of technology because it's going to be hidden in the shoe. Next. So why is there a need for a solution? Because over 800,000 patients are hospitalized because of a fall injury. So if we reduce one fall, we will lessen the burden on the caretaker and reduce the associated hospitalization and surgery costs. Next. So our customer segments include insurance players and nursing homes and independent living facilities, as well as adult children who take care of their loved ones. So here you can see the cost saving and marketing plan and our overall revenue model. Next. So currently, Wise Walker is in the concept phase, which aims to test a prototype by recruiting senior patients from close friends, senior living, or nursing homes. We'll be collaborating with insurances and independent living facilities to validate our product. And after that, we will move on to the marketing and deployment phases, as you can see here. Next.
Sorry, that is time. Thank you so much to Team 34. Now we will welcome 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges.
I think this is the last slide.
Sophie?
Yes, question on usability. Can you move it from a shoe to another, or does it have to stick in one shoe? I'm just thinking if, the grandma is wearing her slippers at home, do we lose the data?
Yeah, so I think this one would be used in terms of a shoe. I think in terms of a slipper, probably 3D printing the console in a way that it would be suitable for the slipper might work. However, we recommend it for orthopedic shoes because, most seniors, find it comfortable to use, and this is most widely used among the senior population above 65. So that's why we went with that. But yeah, I think we can change the design aspect of it.
So the reason we've gone for an insole is so that it's a part of the livelihood shoes that they wear. If it's on terms of usability, we wanted to go in with something that is already a part of their routine so that no behavioral change is needed. And when we said it can be customized to foot size, that's something that's already picked up in prosthetics and will be easily able to cut down cost using techniques like 3D printing.
I have a question from Richard.
Hi, thank you. How far along are you with correlating the output from the sensor with gait analysis and fall risk?
So we have existing algorithms that we are building on top of. So there were 4 modes that we actually tried to map these sensor data to. That was the 4 positions using the positions of the foot. So these are existing algorithms which we're trying to tap on. In terms of customizing it more based on the weight, the size of the person, that is something that has to go into. But as initial proof of concept, we've looked up algorithms which have been tried and tested, published. We've have end-to-end integration of sensors. In terms of the analytics, we've used existing proven techniques that are there.
Next up, we have Team 41. And then if Team 18 can start getting ready.
Hi, we are Team Cup of Tea. A team including members with experience working with MGH, hospices, and various healthcare industries. We're here to introduce you to our cognitive motor therapy for elders. Next. Meet Mr. Wang, an older adult living in a nursing home in Boston. Recently, he feels he's becoming more forgetful, and simple tasks such as buttoning a shirt are becoming more challenging for him. He's developing signs of Alzheimer's. Elders like him in nursing homes are engaging in activities with minimal stimuli like constantly watching TV. This leads to cognitive decline and loss of purpose, which is a widespread problem in the 50 million elderly population in the US. Next. We present you a cup of tea, a subscription box model that delivers evidence-based cognitive and fine motor activity kits targeted to the senior community. According to the study, fine motor activities can help people with Alzheimer's improve degree of cognition, depression, and daily functioning. We offer the market 3 distinct advantages. First, a cup of tea is designed for seniors and personalized according to one's vision and fine motor skills. Second, our activities are science-backed for its cognitive benefits. And thirdly, they encourage community building through increased social interactions. Next. While there are subscription models already out there, unlike other companies, ours provide personalized activities and cognitive benefits for elders. These advantages clearly set us ahead in the current industry. Next. Our process is simple. Once a nursing home subscribes, caregivers are provided with questionnaires with intuitive questions like, can your patients tie a shoestring? This way, caregivers can inform us about the user's visual and fine motor skills. Based on this information, we'll be able to offer specific activities for the customer such as knitting, finger painting, and birdhouse building, and use that information as a baseline to measure cognition and motor skills over time. Several measurements will be collected along with the user caregiver's feedback to further cater to the user's therapeutic needs. Next. How are we entering the market? We plan to start from nursing homes and senior centers to scale quickly. Down the road, we intend to develop proprietary therapeutic products, working with cognitive experts and broadening our offerings. In the future, we plan to directly target seniors at home. As we know, currently the trend shows more individuals are deciding to age at home. Post-expansion to B2C, we expect 550 million revenue in year 5 by acquiring 10% of target patients. Next. Thank you for your time, and please come discuss how together we can help patients like Mr. Wang and caregivers over a cup of tea. Thank you for listening.
2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Oh, Richard?
Hi. Can you talk a little bit about how many of these activities you've already got evidence for cognitive benefits, and how many you feel you need, and how you develop new ones?
Mm-hmm. According to the studies, fine motor activities that engage with a hand and eye matching and using 5 fingers at the same time and both hands for at least 30 minutes, and doing it regularly at least once a week. Those activities are proved to improve the cognitive skills over time, at least from baseline 20%. While when you do it regularly over a year. So based on that, according getting back to your question, I think we have around 5 ideas, and according to this information, we could develop around 20 activities that fit the criteria that the studies available describe.
Thank you. Alex?
Yeah, so one of your key differentiators versus the competition seems to be personalization, right? Can you talk a little bit more about this? You know, how do you personalize based on what? How does that work?
Sure, Alex. Thanks for bringing that on. We expect a lot of elderly have different current level of vision and fine motor skills. And some people may not be able to button their shirt or tie their shoes or make beads, for example. And our activities provided to them should be able to cater to these different current vision and cognitive abilities so that they can actively engage in, and from their own baseline, develop the cognitive and fine motor skills. Would that be sufficient to answer your question?
Sure, thanks.
Thank you.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you to Team 41. We can take a minute just to let the judges validate their notes. And then Team 18 is up next, and then if Team 23 can start getting ready, we will let Team 18 know when it's ready to go up. Okay, Team 18, whenever you're ready.
Okay, hello everyone. We're Pop 3D, customization for comfort. I'm going to open with a story. Mariah, a 76-year-old woman, presented to the hospital with excruciating pelvic pain. On examination, her uterus was entrapped in the vagina, a common but debilitating condition called pelvic organ prolapse. Her age and frailty prevented her from getting surgical treatment, so a less invasive procedure called a vaginal pessary was prescribed, in which the silicone ring inserted into her vaginal cavity was used to lift the uterus. Unfortunately, it was the wrong size, which caused vaginal erosion and bleeding. She is not alone. 1 in 5 women in North America experience this problem. Our solution to this problem is to create a personalized 3D printed pessary. Currently, there is no commercial options for a personalized pessary. There have been 2 examples of 3D pessaries that have been successfully produced in research labs, but the product is not available on the market. The first step in our process is to conduct the ultrasound to measure the specific anatomy of the patient. This is consistent with the current standard of care. Next, would be our proposed contribution to the field. We plan to automatically generate a 3D model using the ultrasound scan and subsequently create a pessary design based on the patient's unique anatomy. The physician will confirm the design by overlaying the 3D model of the pessary onto the 3D image of the patient. A physical mold would be printed and then would be used for medical grade silicone casting. The patient will have an ultrasound follow-up that will verify that the pessary is ideal. Our target market is older women with pelvic organ prolapse. Though ultrasounds are covered as a part of the diagnosis, the pessary is not typically covered by insurance companies and needs to be paid for out of pocket. There is also research showing that pessaries can prevent premature births for pregnant women. The typical cost of a non-personalized pessary is $75. Our proposed solution is estimated to be approximately $100 when we initially begin manufacturing. Our business involves starting by coding for the plugin that would create the personalized pressery and procuring the materials. Then we would start preliminary tests in the hospital, followed by implementation in a larger number and assessment of success rates for improvements of the design. And this is our team. We plan to alleviate the suffering of women with POP with personalized accessories. Thank you for listening. We are now open to any questions.
Great, now we have 2 minutes of Q&A, starting with Sophie.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. So you mentioned that experiments were already conducted and there were similar solutions, but they weren't brought into the market. Do you know what challenges they faced and how you suggest to address them?
Yeah, so currently there's no sort of software systems that will automatically generate the design for the pessary. There's sort of similar software things for work in the brain and spine where you could overlay scans this way, but right now there's no software on the market that would produce the proposed model and then have connect a doctor with where the manufacturing company they would be able to send it to get it produced. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sorry, I usually go back on mute straight away, but yes, thank you.
We have a question from Jack.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there an FDA or medical device approval process that you'll have to go through? Have you thought about that, or is that?
So we don't want to do the actual manufacturing. There's currently similar products on the market, like DEFY cups, and we want the manufacturing to be done locally wherever the hospital is, with those FDA procedures already being taken care of. We just create the model before it gets printed.
We can take one more question from the judges. Here.
So would the hospital be buying the equipment for the 3D printing?
To answer that, can you just go to the next slide? We have a supplementary slide for it. Next. Yeah, so this is how the entire thing is going to work. So basically you are the hospital sends the ultrasound scans to us. We design the mold and send it to a manufacturer. They do the 3D printing and the casting, and it's then shipped for evaluation.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you to Team 18. Next up, we have Team 23. And then we have Team 4 on deck. If we can wait for a few seconds just so the judges can consolidate their notes. Okay, Team 23, whenever you're ready, and Team 4 is on deck.
Hi, we're Balanchi. In May of 2019, I answered a phone call from my uncle, expecting a typical exchange. But instead, I was met with sudden, terrifying news. My grandpa had fallen and broken his hip. Next. Every 11 seconds, a senior like my grandpa is treated in the ER for a fall. Next. And every 11 seconds, a family like mine can be charged $30,000 in hospital bills alone. And falls are costing the American government $67 billion annually. Next. My grandpa felt alone, but he wasn't. In fact, there were 37 million fall injuries worldwide in 2018. The former Surgeon General compared the danger of loneliness to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I knew my grandpa never liked to exercise. We couldn't figure out any way to motivate him, even though he always used his tablet. Plain senior exercise apps lacked social connection with friends, but regular messaging apps provided no way to exercise together. Current technology emphasizes fall treatment, but we're going to prevent falls in the first place and address the loneliness epidemic, introducing
Balanchi, a novel, unique senior experience. Next. Our vision is to foster a community for seniors that encourages physical activity using low-impact Tai Chi while tracking biometrics to reduce the risk of falls. Next. Balanchi addresses senior loneliness by allowing seniors to connect and engage with friends directly through video chat and live Tai Chi sessions. For seniors to adopt the app, they need connection and motivation, which will be through a variety of low-impact movement and Tai Chi exercise communities. Next. Why Tai Chi? This activity is shown to be very effective in fall risk reduction in the elderly, in addition to providing the wearable technology standardized movements that can provide accurate risk assessments. Next. One of Balanchi's most unique features is the safety score. While the app runs, it pulls real-time data such as gait speed and positional data from the user's existing wearable devices. Balanchi then calculates clinically validated risk assessments using your own personal Apple Health information and data we gathered to give a score that represents the risk of a fall for you and your loved ones. Reports of the user's participation, improvement over time, provides positive reinforcement. Should increased risk necessitate intervention, the user is notified to obtain a formal assessment. The goal, to improve well-being and prevent costly bills. Next.
So we plan to roll out Balanchi in 2 stages. The first stage is going to be a monthly paid subscription plan, which will be marketed directly to senior communities as a way to get them moving more and to provide a better, more comprehensive model for keeping track of their health. We also plan to target the families of seniors to provide them with a way to check up on their loved ones. Balanchi will give them the peace of mind that their loved ones are not at risk for falls and are actually working towards reducing their risk. Stage 2 also entails attempting to partner with Apple to introduce their Apple Watch to a new market in the elderly. At the end of the day, Balanchi is a great way to get seniors moving and connected and to save their families stress, money, and a trip to the ER. Next. And this is our diverse team. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Any questions from the judges? Julie?
So is the differentiator here the fact that you're pulling in data and articulating a risk score based off the Tai Chi exercises themselves?
I can answer that question. It's not based off the Tai Chi in particular. We're using Tai Chi kind of as a tool to be able to get the components of clinical risk scores that are currently used in clinical practice, like the Get Up and Go test or the Tenetti test or the Berg's balance scale. So we're kind of using it as a surrogate to have all the individual movements and things that would be expected to essentially get the full range of that assessment, as well as, do it in a fun way that provides the community and for these people.
Alan?
Yeah, same for me around the risk score. So is this something that is already established and you just link it with, or is it something that is kind of proprietary and you're going to establish new?
It's already established in clinical practice right now. It's for the most part is the standard of care for detecting early risk assessment. So we're maintaining the same standard of care. We're just using a device that matching up with Tai Chi will be able to constantly screen, on a consistent basis instead of having to, go see a physician once a year and getting that formal assessment. So we'll be able to try to, figure that out much earlier than later.
Thank you.
Any more questions? If not, we will move on. Thank you to Team 23. Next up, we have Team 4, and then on deck, we have Team 8. So we can wait just a few seconds before starting so we can, the judges can consolidate their notes.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you. Okay, Team 4, whenever you're ready.
Yeah. Hi, we are Team Community, and we are building an ecosystem to provide access to quality and customized home care. Next. Natalie is a waitress in New York, and her 70-year-old mother is a stroke victim staying alone in Boston. Her regular caregiver called Natalie today and resigned from work. Stroke patients need aid for all major daily activities. Natalie immediately calls up the agencies for an urgent replacement, but is unable to find a suitable one. She has to take leave from work and travel to Boston. Her pain does not end there, as she is untrained and not aware of the needs of her mom. Natalie is absolutely helpless. Next. It's not just Natalie. There are more than 50 million geriatric US residents. If you take Boston, 60% of the residents aged 80 plus have a disability which requires some help. Home care aides are often unfairly compensated, leading to really high turnover rates. People in need are often unable to find a suitable caregiver, and with high turnover, there is no smooth transfer of information and often a big need service mismatch. Next slide. So our solution is community, where both the families and the caregivers can join and stay connected with each other right from the recruitment till the transfer of care. Next slide. The patient's family can enter the details, mention their specific requirements, and our system connects them with the caregivers based on their location, availability, skill set, and relevant experiences. Community empowers the family to connect with the best fit and leads to higher satisfaction. Next slide. For the caregivers, they can view the patient details and needs. Our unique user-friendly task management system extracts information from the patient's EHRs through FHIR and sorts them into different tasks. These tasks are modified and updated real time. Also, when a caregiver resigns, the next caregiver gets access to all the tasks through the management system, and this leads to a smoother transition of care. Next slide, please. With community, Natalie does not really have to worry anymore. There are other apps, but community adds value by our unique FHIR integration and user-friendly task management system. Next slide. Our overall initial expenditure will be around $19,500. Our revenue model will be a blended one with a majority contribution coming from in-app advertisements. Next slide. We will be initially focusing on the app development with EHR integration, enrollment of the caregivers, and launch our pilot in Boston. By year end, we'll scale up and expand our services to include pharmacies and diagnostics. Next slide. This is our team with diverse global background, and through our network and business experience, we wish to make community a reality. Thank you. We are now open for questions.
Thank you. Now for 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Sophie?
Yes, thanks for the presentation. Just thinking about scalability. So will you be hiring your own caregivers, or are you a platform provider for a caregiver group?
Yeah, so if a person is willing to be a caregiver, they can join our platform. We will be providing all the necessary facilities for training them and certifying them. This is one. And second is where we'll be also be tying up with the different agencies, where we are providing them access to a very big population who are using our app, and we'll be charging them a very minor service fee for the same purpose.
Okay. And who will pay for it?
Yeah, so our major revenue is, our major revenue will be from in-app advertisements. So there will be a lot of geriatric home care products, like we have shown in the slide, if you can go back. A lot of geriatric home care products and consumer products who will be giving the advertisements on our application, and also from the diagnostic centers who are doing testing, and also from the pharmaceutical centers as well. The other revenue comes from partnerships and from the caregiver agencies.
Thank you.
Sure.
Hi. What's your thinking about actually getting both caregivers and families to sign up? Is this a kind of direct-to-consumer market engagement?
Yes. So the biggest incentive for the families is that they can real-time look for which caregivers are available based on their needs, like the costs, the location, the timings for which they need the caregivers, and like they do not need to go from agency to agency asking for a caregiver. So if there is a caregiver who has experience with dealing with Parkinson's or Alzheimer's, and we have a patient in our home who is suffering from the same, we can easily reach out to them and connect with them. For the caregivers, the incentive is that they are getting access to a very big market base through our platform, and they.
Thank you to Team 4. Next up, we have Team 8. And then if Team 69 can start getting ready. Can we wait for a few minutes before Team 8 starts presenting?
Mighty, are you there?
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, Team 8, whenever you're ready.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Engage, where senior citizens can captivate, connect, and contribute. Next, please. Let me introduce you to David, a 60-plus widower. He found our app because he was concerned about his future, as his father had early onset dementia, and because he feels lonely. Next, please. David's not alone in this. If we don't address this problem by 2050, it'll result in over half of the population in the US alone feeling disconnected from society. This is where Engage comes into play. Next, please. Here's a quick 360-degree view of Engage's 3 pillars and a look at our interface. Next, please. Now let's get back to David. When he signs up for the app, he'll encounter a short quiz that uses questions from both the K-10 and the UCLA Loneliness Test to assess his mental condition as accurately as possible. Afterwards, he'll be able to talk to an app ambassador who will show him around the app and explain all the features. Next, please. Once that's done, he'll see 3 sections or pillars. The first pillar, Captivate, provides activities, learning opportunities, and a journal so David can refine and practice his skills and keep track of his emotional well-being. Next, please. The second pillar, Connect, gives him a chance to connect with like-minded people of his age group and find a community that he may feel he otherwise lacks for any reason. He can find friends, groups, and even speak with app ambassadors for advice. The third pillar, Contribute, lets David find new opportunities such as mentorship or teaching. If he feels he wants to do something different, he can move on, no strings attached. Next, please.
So the content will be personalized using the AI analysis and InterSystems platform. And the business model is set in a way that first will drive adoption by offering free trials into the senior residential areas and also to the direct to the customers. And then later, once there is some adoption, we'll encourage users to try the subscription model by offering more services or premium content. And also, as you've seen in the Captivate data, we'll send the users' learning and engagement data to the insurance providers to find a way for the customers to be reimbursed. We plan to drive the early adoption by partnering with the senior organizations who are committed to their mental well-being. And once there is enough adoption, they become ambassadors and they can help refer new customers by meeting customers they've met organically in their daily interactions. We'll also do customized targeting offline, online, where a lot of senior members use those platforms such as pharmacy or newspapers. It is differentiated because the existing solutions actually pairs college students or volunteers, whereas this solution empowers senior citizens to help each other because they've gone through those challenges themselves. So they are the better helpers and caregivers of the senior citizens who need help. Thank you very much. And on that note, I'd like to open up for the questions.
Thank you, Team 8. Next up for 2 minutes of Q&A. Richard?
Hi, this is a comment and maybe with a question. I like the presentation here. I think that there's an opportunity to partner with possibly Medicare Advantage payers or providers who have at-risk populations for Medicare Advantage, or even somebody like AARP, who I happen to know are really thinking about this loneliness thing, and I've been working with those UCLA people. So any thoughts about that?
Yes, absolutely. We couldn't put it in the presentation because it was 3 minutes, but what will be interesting as we have more user experience data, it will be interesting to compare with the users who haven't used this app and see if there will be any beneficial or preventative evidence to back up our benefits with the providers or even hospitals or hospital care. Thank you very much for your comment.
We have time for one more question. Okay, if that is it, then we will let the judges consolidate their feedback. And then in the meantime, if team 69 can start getting ready, and then team 6 is up on deck. Thank you. Team 69, whenever you are ready, feel free to get started.
Sure, we're ready to start right now. Hi everyone, our team and product is called Ginkgo. We've developed a mobile application that passively and remotely monitors senior wellness, empowering seniors to age in place at home. Next. The problem our team wished to address was making aging in place a reality for more seniors. Aging in place means growing old in your own home. AARP recently found that 80% of seniors hope to age in place, but many may not be able to. Aging in place is also very challenging for caregivers, especially in times of emergency or inactivity. While existing monitoring systems are a solution, they're often intrusive, uncomfortable, and expensive. To address these problems, we've developed Ginkgo, a mobile platform solution that passively and remotely monitors senior wellness using lock screen activity and analytics. Let me tell you about John, our first customer. John is a senior who lives alone. John set his Ginkgo app so that if he fails to unlock his phone once every 4 hours, his niece Anna will receive a notification. John got carried away gardening and did not unlock his phone for over 4 hours. Anna received an auto text from Ginkgo and called John to ensure he was okay. For the features we plan to incorporate, first, fall detection using smartphone sensors powered by machine learning. Our platform will also feature a virtual community, and that would help create a neighborhood. Sorry, next slide, please. Can we just do it like one by one? Sorry, I don't know what's going on. But the second feature is that our platform will help create a neighborhood watch system for seniors who do not live in the vicinity of caregivers. Third, there will be curated content on the lock screen which seniors can customize with ads or other sponsored content by categories of choice. And this would optimize engagement with data analytics powered by the InterSystems platforms. Next. So we think there are a couple of value propositions to what our app offers. First and foremost, it is seamlessly incorporated into senior lives and hidden from view, so no stigma of visible pendants or sensors. It provides security and peace of mind to seniors and their caregivers. It's simple, user-friendly. It frees up caregiver and loved ones' times. It ensures independence and autonomy, and it is also free of costs and fueled by ad revenue. Next. We conducted some competitor analysis and found that most of the solutions in this space involve active monitoring, are very high tech and expensive, and they cost a few $100s a year. The closest solution we could find involving passive monitoring is TrueSense, and it costs $780 a year. Next. Our go-to market strategy is simple. We'll beta test and launch globally, and to sustain user generation, we'll target families via social media and make strategic collaborations with organizations like AARP. We can also repurpose the app for parents passively and remotely monitoring their children in college. We plan to collect and store data and create a centralized database of data for seniors. Next. As you can see, here are some of our forecasts, and we project making about $540,000 a year based on senior lock screen activity and a target audience of about 5,000 users a year. Next. Thank you very much for your time, and we welcome any questions.
Thank you. Now for 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges. Sophie, whenever you're ready.
Yes, thank you. You mentioned that it monitors patients passively, but actually it depends on them using their phone or not, right? So they need to unlock their screen every 4 hours.
Right. Well, it's passive in the sense that there's no external, like you don't have to buy any devices, and it's seamlessly incorporated into their daily routines, just because as the statistics shows, seniors unlock their phones 1 to 2 times per waking hour. And so it's seamlessly incorporated into their routine, and they don't have to feel like they're taking part in some sort of monitor, or they need to use some external monitoring device.
Have you considered, home voice monitored solutions, your Alexas, Google Homes, etc.?
We did, and we consciously thought about those things, but we really wanted to be able to help isolated seniors from lower income communities for whom solutions like that are not financially feasible. So we're trying to target a certain market with our solution.
Thank you.
We can take one more question from our judges. Okay, if there are no more questions, we will let our judges consolidate our notes. And then we will move on if Team 6 can start getting ready, and then if Team 38 can be on deck. As a general reminder, if you plan on using the Go Faster button and the speaker is not the one using the Go Faster button, please let Julia know. That way she knows who to watch out for. Apologies.
So John will pass the slides for Team 6, okay?
Okay. Okay, Team 6, whenever you're ready, you can get started.
So, how many memories are lost every day? As people age older, they have a higher chance of developing some type of dementia. Factors such as social isolation and taking less activities that requires logical thinking can accelerate the process and result in loss of memory. Some of those can be lost forever. As each day passes, more people are being diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia, but there is still no treatment to undo the loss of memory. There are, however, research on stimulating elderly to tell stories through visual building, improving their cognitive capacity, quality of life, and retention of memories. Aiming on the problem, we create Mind, an AI that will be able to recognize key points of the user memories through voice recognition, select drawings for a sketch, and create animation using the information the user still remembers. Since elderly people are not always used to new technology, we thought an interface as simple as pressing one single button, and the AI will recognize the voice or the writing text of the people's memories and transform it into animation. Our virtual platform will allow users to register, share, and invite their loved ones to recall and recreate memories from the most important moments in their lives. When the elder people stimulate their creativity and memories, they make a positive impact on their cerebral connections, their social bonds, and this improves their mental and physical health. During the hackathon, we will be able to develop a working prototype that could recognize words in a short sentence and choose images that will be a part of the final video. We did a market research and concluded that there are similar solutions like memory lane that converts people's speech to text. It's an excellent exercise for older adults, but we want to go further, adding visual and audible representation, generating synesthetic sensations, and make the memory more meaningful. We are planning on making a free trial version of the AI so the users can create memories and store them safely on the platform, but we wish to use all the tools available. They have to subscribe to a premium version. And in the premium version, we wish to include a facial personalization as well ways to incorporate personalized care. We will get in touch with the retirement and nursing homes to test our product and make the best version out of it, since they will be one of our main stakeholders. For the future of this project, we expect to create funds to research in Alzheimer and dementia treatment, make our application available in healthcare system and asylums, and finding a way to personalize user memories with professional designers. We are Team Mind, a team with a diverse background, and our loved ones are the reason we built this. Thanks.
Thank you. Next up for 2 minutes of Q&A from our judges. Richard, whenever you're ready.
Do you have a sense of how acceptable or attractive these kind of animations are to the population that you're going after?
The idea is to have something that they can not only listen to, but see it. We can create more effect when we use more than one sense, not only listen, not only reading a story or a memory, but also seeing the memory.
And we also, like, we have a feature where the face can be personalized. We can think of adding more voices, and like the animations are attractive to anyone, like the ones shown in the demo too.
Thank you. Next, a question from Drex.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to add was, did you consider using ads as a part of this? And the reality that this also has a tie into the loneliness issue, because if you're sharing this and then talking to others about what you've shared, it's kind of an interesting idea.
Thanks. We think that when they share memories, they can share some feelings as well, and they can share happiness, they can share hope, they can share a lot of good ideas.
Sophie?
Very quickly, did you run this idea by any of the beautiful people we're seeing on this slide? Did you do a quick test?
Yeah, I wish I could have this with my grandma, is over there. I miss her a lot, but she will be an awesome user of this.
Thank you, Team 6. Now we will let the judges consolidate their notes. In the meantime, can Team 38 get ready, and then Team 3 will be on deck. And then if Team 38, you have any special requests in terms of switching sides, please let Julia know now.
I'll send next, please.
Okay, we are ready to get started. Team 38, whenever you're ready, you can just go ahead. Sorry, Vivi, I think you are muted. We will reset the clock for you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thanks and welcome to Golden Hearts, companion for the elderly. Next, please. The problem we're solving is companionship for seniors that leads to isolation and loneliness. Lack of companionship that leads to isolation and loneliness. Next, please. The solution we're bringing is called Teddy. This is an interactive aging companion that combats loneliness by providing proactive suggestions, entertainment, as well as suggesting activities for the elderly. Next, please. And this is our product, Teddy, which is a robotic bear. Now, Teddy helps users by providing them a friendly, personalized suggestion as well as reminders.
So I'd like to go ahead and talk about Teddy. Teddy is a robotic bear companion that proactively offers personalized activities, suggestions, and reminders. For example, Teddy will ask, "How are you?" If you're feeling sad, Teddy will show compassion and ask if you want to hear a heartwarming story. If you have been engaged in a sedentary activity for a long time, Teddy will ask, "Do you want to go on a walk?" Teddy will even join seniors in singing, playing games, reading, and other activities. Teddy will use voice tone analysis, facial expression analysis, and sentiment analysis to understand the emotions of the senior. Teddy will also have sensors for motion detection. Teddy will respond with friendly head motions, facial expressions, and audio responses.
Next, please. Our business model is simple and twofold. We will sell to corporations, B2B, corporations like insurance companies. Our research shows that they will reimburse if similar product is prescribed by a medical doctor for therapy. And we will also sell to consumers directly. Next, please. Our market validation shows us that this is a growing market that will head to 3.9 billion in just 2023. So this is a high growth area. Next, please. Our market size, our research is showing us that in just a few years, 40% or roughly about 31 million Americans will be experiencing loneliness. So this is quite a sizable demographic. Next, please. And these are some of the competitors we have. We've got the Boston Dynamics, which is very highly priced. All the way down to the right, we have Sony, which is almost about $3,000. Next, please. Now, our product is priced around $2,000, so we can serve both of our our sales channels. And these are some of our competitive advantages. We're first to market of this kind. We're easy to use, and we're also low price and low to manufacture. Next, please.
Sorry, we are out of time. We will now move on to 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges.
Thank you.
Richard, whenever you're ready.
Thank you. In the description of the capabilities of the robotic companion, it sounded like a list of very advanced things, like one of them I remember was, you know, if the person's face displays certain emotions, and it strikes me that relies on the person's face being in view and so on. So how much of this is already practical, and how much of it is aspirational?
Shayna?
Thank you for your question. This is all very practical and currently able to be implemented. If the user's face is not in view, that information won't be taken into account when the bear decides how to respond.
Is price the only basis on which you can compete? I wasn't as clear about other differentiating advantages.
For starting out, Yes, but in the future, we also plan to collect data and find a way to utilize that data and also monetize that data. But for right now, price is one of our biggest things because we are targeting the affordable market.
That's the other unique aspects to the bear are the emotionally intelligent responses and the bear shape. Currently, other products are more robot shaped or pet shaped.
Alex?
Yeah, so are you going to do the bear yourself, or are you going to partner with others? You know, what is the core of the company? What is that you are kind of, you know, what is your core competency in a way?
Shayna?
So we would manufacture the bear ourselves, and we've looked into the parts that we would need to do that. And then my expertise is in machine learning research and engineering, so I would do all of the software that I discussed.
Thank you for answering those questions. That is all the time we have for today. Next up, as the judges start consolidating their notes, if team 3 can start getting ready, and then team 73 will be on deck. And team 3, if you have any special requests about switching slides, please let Julia know now. Can all the judges please double check to make sure team 38 has had a submission received for your judge feedback? Okay, great. Team 3, we are ready for you. You can start whenever you're ready, and then team 73, you're on deck.
We are so excited to present to you Painscapes, Living Well with Pain, next. Painscapes strives to empower community-dwelling older adults living with chronic pain and who are at risk for substance use disorders to assess and manage their pain, next. Did you know that 75% of deaths among older adults are linked to opioid use, according to the World Health Organization in 2015? Older adults living with chronic pain and substance use disorders are an overlooked, complex, yet growing group that's projected to be 20% of the US population by 2030, according to the Center for Addiction in Boston. Next. Substance use disorder is the most stigmatized illness due to high perceived fault and control of the individual. We don't tend to think it affects the older population, which perpetuates the barrier to access care and to receive quality care. Therefore, they may not bring it up to start the conversation. Next. This is a complex and well-documented problem that raises important questions centered around empowering individuals with tools as they are their own experts, breaking the stigma, developing co-creating tools to increase agency, and introducing evidence-based alternative strategies to manage pain. Next. The proposal is a monthly subscription kit that monitors their pain through client-centered engaging tools. Next. The kit includes a monthly calendar with innovative magnets representing the pain scale, which they will share with their provider, illustrated cards to provide language to describe pain, interactive activities for alternative pain management strategies. Next, a card with important phone numbers like hotlines, flyer to directly start conversation with psychosocial effects and stigma. Family and caregivers also have the option to add special features like a note or favorite treat. Next. Painscapes is a recurring subscription service that's rooted in a co-design approach with community-dwelling older adults living with chronic pain and prescribed opiates who can benefit from. Next. Key highlights include Painscapes being a preventative tool that insurance providers can cover. Data from the calendar and activities are then shared with the provider. Phased approach focusing on low-tech, usability, and approachable features. And this is the only subscription box that's co-created and customized by the individual. Next. Painscapes is a standout competitor that emphasizes a client-centered and collaborative approach that's especially imperative with this growing and vulnerable population. The out-of-pocket option is $25 a month with these innovative features, which will be part of the tiered process to include feedback from client and stakeholders. Next, the value to each key stakeholders in this process is first laid out as potential cost savings for insurance providers of $90,000 per person, for the client to manage pain and wellness, caregivers to further understand the needs, and providers have this ability to access this unique client-centered approach. Thank you, and we're happy to take questions. Next.
Thank you. Now for 2 minutes of Q&A by the judges, starting with Sophie.
Sorry, I may have missed it, but what will be in the box?
Yes, the box includes an innovative calendar with magnets. It includes interactive activities for alternative pain management strategies and cards, and also they have an option to add customized activities.
Okay, and do you have an idea of what these activities are? Is that something evidence-based that it will help with the pain?
Yes, as an occupational therapist who have worked in skilled nursing facilities and in the community, sensory-based strategies including tactile, to stimulate the different senses, as well as social, emotional, and psychosocial interactive activities to better increase the connection and to decrease the stigma for this population.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, thank you to Team 3. If there are no further questions, we will let the judges consolidate their notes. In the meantime, if Team 73 can start getting ready, and then Team 45 will be on deck.
So I'll be presenting for Dorothy Bartels, and I'll be controlling the Go Faster button.
Thank you.
Okay, we are ready for you. Team 73, whenever you're ready.
Okay. Welcome to Club 60 Plus, which is a one-stop solution addressing the mental health needs of people age 60 or older by creating a supportive community. Next slide. Sorry, I forgot to hit it. Aunt Polly, due to pandemic restrictions and increasing physical challenges, can't get out to participate in social activities such as garden clubs, bridge groups, or adult education classes that she's been involved in. These activities used to provide friendships, social interaction, and supports, as well as mental stimulation to keep her mind alert and active. She's lonely and becomes depressed and anxious. Next slide. She's not alone. Over 20% of people age 60 and over run into some kind of psychological problems, much of it due to loneliness. We've created an easy-to-use app for seniors that is also able to be used by people who need accessibility for vision or hearing or any of the other needs that one might have. People can choose to take courses or social clubs, and we provide these clubs for them, or they can use this to access their provider if the provider chooses our telehealth. Now, why would they choose our programs rather than somebody else's? That's because we will have an army of displaced interns displaced by the pandemic and students on gap years to be tech supports individually, real time, in a group, so that the participants in the group don't have to worry about dealing with the technical details. The support people will be there, right there for them. The same thing for appointments. The providers don't have to be the tech support person to their patients. Next slide. So our primary people would be a subscription for an elderly person. They could purchase it themselves. People can gift it to them, or we are looking into alternate methods of ways that they could be paid, maybe through an insurance, wellness, or whatever. And they would use the app. If most people will not have to have a health provider, but if they do, that provider could decide to use us because we are going to provide the support to their patients and them if they need it to make the focus on the treatment visit, not on anything else. We also have, as part of the app, we have data tracking of engagement, so that it could be used by the individual, by the person to say, how am I engaging with the world? Am I keeping up with that? We would also have, they could share it with their doctors, they could share it with their families, so they could also be monitoring of their engagement in the world, or in the case of doctors, to monitor medication, is medication working, transitions like that. And the whole thing is to give people a real community where they can meet people, have friendships, and be with one another, age peers. And sometimes we bring in some intergenerational programming just to break things up.
That is all the time we have for today. If we can have 2 minutes of Q&A with the judges.
Any questions by anybody? We would love to address them.
We do have our final slide that could move to our last slide, which is, thank you very much. Oh, and the code there, which you probably don't have access to, but we could send you links to, would actually give you the opportunity to test out the prototype of our app.
If there is time, I'll just add one more point to what Dorothy's.
For presentation, we must wait for the judges. If there are no judge questions, then we can move on. We'll wait 10 more seconds in case the judges want to ask any questions. Okay, thank you to Team 73. Now we will let the judges consolidate their notes, and then we will give the floor to Team 45, and then coming up soon, we have Team 14 on deck. So Team 45, please wait for the judges and we will let you know when to start. Okay, thank you to the judges and thank you to Team 73. Next up, we have Team 45 with Team 14 on deck. Team 45, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Hello everyone, we are Dialed and we care about the senior citizens residing in developing and multilingual countries. We have taken India as a case study for all developing countries. Our goal is to improve the quality of addressing preclinical issues faced due to complexity of employment management apps, the experience of senior citizens who feel hesitant to address their issues because of language barriers. Next slide, please. Senior citizens from India are suffering from the communication barrier caused due to complex appointment booking systems and language-related problems, as there are times where people prefer the regional languages over English. Today, they try to solve their problem by either telling the family members to book an appointment or physically visit the hospital just to see if they can get a same-day appointment or not. But the problem is that with the hectic schedule of the family members, the appointment gets delayed. There are even times when the helpline numbers are not reachable, causing delay in addressing the issue, which is a life-threatening scenario in the case of emergencies. Next slide, please. Our solution is to attack the complex and inflexible methods of addressing preclinical issues faced by senior citizens, starting with the WhatsApp chatbot, as many senior citizens are now getting familiar with WhatsApp, where there is no additional learning curve to have an access to better healthcare in terms of booking an appointment or an ambulance. Next slide, please. Our first target customers are senior citizens in Tier 1 cities of India, such as Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, etc. Here in this slide, we have developed a prototype of a chatbot that describes the flow of conversations. So here, when I put in the input, that's how the chatbot actually decodes supposedly the location or the input such as hospital or ambulance in the first sentence, then the ward or PIN code in the second sentence, and then whether you are registered or is it your first time. I would like to give credits to IBM Watson Assistant feature for prototype support. Next slide, please. We can improve the appointment booking and management apps by being user-friendly, provide prompt medical aid when the helplines are not reachable, and also provide multilingual approach to avoid communication barrier. Senior citizens will be our early adopters because the technology has definitely added years to an individual's life, but we aim to add quality and healthy living option to those added years. We'll reach them through NGO working, especially for senior citizens, hospital and medical organizations, and government-backed opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you to Team 45. We will now open it up to 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Starting with Alex, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, hi, I'm still not clear. What's the product and the business model?
It is basically a software which is trying to bridge a gap between the health practitioner and the patient. So there are times when, especially in India, the network facilities or the Wi-Fi facilities isn't that proper. I would say the infrastructure of the same is not proper. So as a result, there is delay in booking the appointments, and because of that, the person is unable to address their issues, and that is it.
Okay, and how do you make money on this?
Yes, sir.
Judges, this is team C045.
Alex, you need to repeat your question. I think.
Yeah, I think the question was, how would you generate revenues? How do you make money on this?
So basically, the first thing that comes in my mind is addressing pre and post clinical issues. So since people are not that tech savvy in India, I would first roll out the WhatsApp chatbot. Just for the customers to get familiar with the idea, and then go on with the Android development. Ma'am, can you just go on to slide number 7? Slide number 7. Timeline. Slide number 7. No, this is slide number 2.
We don't have the numbers for the slides.
So we're planning to actually roll out a WhatsApp chatbot just for the customers to get familiar with the idea, and then later on we'll develop an Android app for the same, and that's how we can generate revenue out of it.
Thank you. That's all the time we have for today. We will let the judges consolidate their notes, and then in the meantime, team 14 start getting ready, and then team 60, you are up on deck.
Am I audible? Yes. Mm. Am I audible? Yes, Arijit.
Hi, yes, we can hear you.
Please start.
No, please do not start. We are still waiting for the judges to consolidate it.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
No worries. If the people who are not presenting can please mute their microphones. Thank you. Okay, team 14, whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We present to you AudioAble, your smart AI pal. Cognitive impairment in old age causes disruption in daily life of elderly individuals and their family, especially those suffering from Alzheimer's or other dementia, and many of them can't manage daily care. Our goal is to improve their quality of life, so we propose to design and build a low-cost, energy-efficient, elder-friendly, AI-based audio assistant. We are targeting the elderly population, especially those with dementia and concerned family members and carers. It also has a secondary market in the visually challenged population. The key features of the device are daily scheduling and remote check-in, native voice-over assistant, pulse tracker, homing GPS, device proximity alert. The system has image detection for facial and object recall and prompts names and associated memories. It works on top of optimization with a low frame rate camera, alerts carer in medical emergencies or when user loses location awareness and directs them to safety, remote check-in from carer at any time. Pulse tracker can be integrated with any health app and health data exchange programs by InterSystems. Assistive camera sits in the nose bridge of the spectacle frame There is an IR remote bracelet with 2 buttons, one for emergency, another for audio prompt, which can be automatic or manual. Cheap RFID tags are placed on important daily objects and the audioable glasses, and RFID readers on doorstep to ensure they are always on the user while stepping out. Overall setup is elder-friendly, low cost, and has longer battery life as compared to its counterparts. Globally, dementia cases have been skyrocketing since 1990. This shows a potential market in affected countries with high elderly population. Our current product stakeholders with a positive impact are the consumers who are cognitively impaired elders. We have to partner with manufacturers of hardware, materials, and distributors, as well as healthcare avenues like clinicians and caregivers to reach out to the proper consumer base. R&D labs are needed for product enhancement for future support. The treatment cost of Alzheimer's and dementia is already high and expected to rise to $1.1 trillion by 2050. Our product can reduce this cost burden and improve quality of life for our consumers. Key performance indicators are crucial to determine future growth and outreach of the product. We have made some KPI assumptions like units manufactured per week, product distribution in markets, revenue generated per week, customer service, number of stakeholders benefited, and number of markets reached. We have a diverse team with me, myself, Arijit, being a medical student, Ishank, who is pursuing his degree in electrical engineering, Anish, who's pursuing his degree in aeronautical engineering and has experience in designing and a bit of marketing, and Kanchan Bhadra, who's pursuing his degree in law right now.
Thank you. That's all the time we have. If we can go on to have 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Judges, whenever you're ready. Sophie?
Yes, thank you. Just question about why you went with the hardware as opposed to thinking, for example, about an Alexa skill that you could, link to a wearable as an option or something along those lines and iterate on that basis.
I'd like to answer that. So we think that app-based solutions often pose an acceptance barrier, especially towards people who might not be comfortable using new technology. Through our simplified system, we wanted to have very few buttons that can serve a limited role, thereby making it acceptable to be adopted by the elderly and especially if they're undergoing cognitive impairment.
And I'm willing to add to that, Alexa and other AI-based softwares, they have tried to develop its counterpart, those smart glasses, but all of those have failed because of lower battery life. We have tried to include the minimum required service for our target population.
Alex?
Yeah, still not sure about the product. So is it one device or is it multiple devices?
I'd like to answer that. So our main product are a helpful pair of glasses that can assist you with memory related tasks. They don't have any holographic projection or anything like that, just an audio based assistant. And there was a small add-on there which helped make sure that whenever you step out of your home, you have your glasses on, because that needs to be the case for this product to be effective.
And there is a bracelet which can give a device proximity alert and can track your pulse at the same time because it's near the wrist.
Thank you.
It acts like a remote.
We will now let the judges consolidate their notes, and then if Team 60 can start getting ready, and then Team 25, you are on deck. Team 60, if you have any special requests with regards to moving to the next slide, please let us know.
I'll just be saying next slide.
Okay, Team 60, whenever you're ready, you can get started.
Hi everyone, my name is Seth and we are virtualhug.ai. Next slide, please. The problem we're trying to solve is that caregivers don't have a reliable way to track the physical and mental health of elderly individuals living in isolation. Next slide, please. Our solution is virtualhug.ai, which is an efficient and easy way to monitor the mental state of elderly individuals and a platform for caregivers to express affection, attention, and positive reinforcement for them. We provide daily pulse questionnaires on how members are doing, notifications to remind caregivers to check in and give real hugs, as well as virtual hugs, audio messages from loved ones with affection and positive reinforcement. We provide insights on mood, feelings of isolation, and potential mental health problems using advanced speech analysis. Next slide, please. Our system is a smart voice assistant, which starts with a guided question and answer. We take the gathered speech content and patterns for analysis. We can integrate additional data from smart devices, health apps, and health data exchange, such as that from Intuit Systems. The virtualhug.ai engine then provides scores such as the mood score, DSM score, and trend score, which can then be used to recommend interventions to the caregivers. The caregivers can intervene through caregiver hugs and scheduled hugs. The result is less isolation, reduced mental health episodes, and fewer interventions. This provides peace of mind for caregivers. Next slide, please. We provide significant value to customers. Virtualhug.ai is easy to use since it prompts users to share how they're feeling just by speaking about it. It also helps you stay connected with your loved ones on a more consistent basis. Finally, we provide useful insights so that you can be notified when your loved ones are feeling down and provide them support when they need it. Next slide, please. The solutions that include human intervention are costly, and the solutions that are automated miss the emotional connection and support from their loved ones, which is the bedrock of care. Virtualhug.ai is the first time that this technology has been leveraged to provide proactive emotional and psychological care to those in need. Next slide, please. Our tech stack uses InterSystems as the enterprise database and AWS MapReduce as the machine learning engine. Actionable takeaways are delivered to either caregivers or Epic via the InterSystems Fire API. Next slide, please. Our primary business model is a freemium-based monthly subscription-based recurrent revenue model with caregivers as our buyers and the elderly as the beneficiaries of our service. We have additional revenue streams from the payers and provider groups as well. Next slide, please. We want to acquire our first 10,000 users with 15,000 transactions in North America through digital marketing to caregivers and our freemium app. Our conservative projection takes us to 1.2 million revenue in the first year, 5 million in the second, and 15 million in the third year of gross profits with a gross profits of 75%. And a customer lifetime value of $80. Next slide, please. The Grand Hack has managed to bring together clinical medicine, psychology, health data analytics, economics, AI, and business strategy together from all across the globe. Thank you.
Thank you, Team 60. We'll welcome questions from the judges now. Richard, whenever you're ready.
You mentioned DSM score. Can you explain what that is, please?
Yes, this is Dr. Sriram speaking. So in psychiatric terms, that's a standard methodology by which American Psychiatric Association categorizes individuals on the level of their psychiatric status or mental status as such. Yeah, that's a standard score. Yeah, in the industry.
We still have time for another question or two. Okay, if there are no more questions left, thank you to Team 60. We will let the judges consolidate their notes, and then we will welcome Team 25 as the next team. And Team 40 will be on deck. Team 25, whenever you're ready, you can get started.
Hi, we're PharmPop, and we're here to address polypharmacy management in the elderly. Meet Gertrude, your typical geriatric patient. She's homebound, lives alone, is on chronic opioids, along with the average number of medications for a geriatric individual. And like 1 in 5 of older adults in the US, she incorrectly takes her medications. Unfortunately, she has a stroke due to medication misuse, adding to the $13.7 billion in healthcare costs, hospitalizations, morbidity, and mortality. To combat these polypharmacy misunderstandings and mismanagement, PharmPop seeks to enable accurate and safe medication usage amongst the elderly. Our toaster-sized Internet of Things pill dispenser securely stores and appropriately alerts the patient to dispense morning, noon, and night medications, along with functionality to dispense as-needed medications according to an individual's personalized regimen. Functionality also includes the ability to receive multilingual information on their medications, side effects, and what to expect. The user-friendly design incorporates biometric identification and allows for restocking of locked pill cartridges, like a printer, removing access to and reducing the risk of overdose. Our system decreases the possibility of medication misuse and mismanagement. PharmPop aggregates prescriptions from a patient's physicians and allows for real-time prescription updates. It reconciles medication interactions, then ensures the patient accurately gets their medications, allowing them to live at home independently. In turn, providers can view summaries of patient compliance and use of as-needed medications to best tailor their personalized medical therapy. Unlike PillPack, we send information about medication compliance and use of as-needed pills back to providers and provide flexibility in immediately reflecting changes in prescriptions. Along with tracking the medication use, we reduce the risk of abuse with locked pill cartridges and timed release of medications to only the patient as determined by biometric identification. All of this is to help seniors live independently and safely at home. Comparing the estimated cost of manufacturing and stocking the device with the current cost of avoidable hospitalizations due to medication misuse demonstrates big savings of upwards $25 billion a year, a significant return on investment from a unit cost of $50, allowing us to market our proprietary device straight to insurers. Furthermore, investors will be swayed by our future vision of a platform for all in-home medical needs. Our team of doctors, pharmacists, and engineers are excited to bring this idea to fruition. Thank you so much for your attention, and any questions?
Now for 2 minutes of Q&A from the judges. Richard, whenever you're ready.
You know, adoption of devices of any kinds to monitor pharmacy at home there's been a lot of them and been difficult to adopt. What are your thoughts about how you get over that hurdle?
Our thought of getting over that hurdle is to provide it to the patient with no cost themselves by selling it to insurers, and insurers will say any adult over 65 on more than 10 medications will send one of these home and have them use this as their source of medications. So kind of just giving it to them, seeing if they like it and adopt it, and hoping that they will.
Alex?
Yeah, I mean, tell me a little bit, you know, Hero is one of the applications already in the market. So you had a slide on there, but just go back to that and, you know, how is it really different than what's currently available?
Yeah, so the big difference is that Hero, you have to put in your own meds. So you have access to all of your pills and you have to put those in, which is a huge overdose risk that you have all of those pills to go, whereas our cartridges are locked and you can't break into them. And you just put those cartridges in and dispense the right amount of medication. So you can't take all of the pills at once. So that's one of the big differences with Hero.
Okay.
Any other questions? We have time for one more. Okay, thank you to Team 25. We will let the judges consolidate their notes. And then in the meantime, Team 40, last but not least, if you guys can start getting ready.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
So I'm going to say next. And could you please start my slide from the second one?
Okay, we will do that once we are ready to get started. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
If you're not presenting, please just a reminder, please turn off your mic. Okay, we are now ready for you.
Yeah, could you go to the next slide?
Yep, whenever you're ready, we may get started.
Yeah, I think we can go ahead. 77 million is the number of patients suffering from diabetes in India, and 50% of these patients develop neuropathy after 25 years of onset of diabetes. Next, neuropathy causes ulcers, gangrene, and ultimately leads to amputation. Next, how do we ensure early detection and diagnosis of diabetic peripheral neuropathy that poorly affects the quality of life in diabetic elderly? Next, the pain points we are concentrating on is high prevalence of neuropathy, which increases with age, difficulty in early diagnosis, which leads to higher treatment cost, missing out on routine checkups, and long wait time in test centers, especially during a pandemic. Next, a survey was conducted with clinicians throughout the hackathon where we found that vibration and temperature is the first sensation to be lost in these patients. Next, the solution to this problem is DiaSense. It is a one-stop solution for complete diabetic foot care. It allows for early detection and diagnosis, checks for prognosis, and also has a teleconsultation and information sharing platform. Next, DiaSense consists of a sock with vibration motors and temperature patches connected with an app. Next, these are the mock apps showing the diagnosis and prognosis. Next, we are also maintaining blood sugar data and complete foot assessment records. Next, the methodology for the solution is very simple. The app reminds the patient to conduct the test recommended 3 times a week, especially during the night. The patient initiates the test as per convenience. The sock conducts vibration and temperature perception tests in random sequences and frequencies. All that the patient needs to do is click on the app when they feel the sensation. The response is analyzed against the threshold and a report is generated. Next, the value proposition we are offering to the customer is affordable and accurate tool, reducing the chance of irreversible neuropathy, early detection and monitoring of prognosis, in-app call consultation. For the health provider, we are enabling accurate data comparison for understanding the disease timeline and for providing immediate intervention. Next, the valuable impact we are creating for the patient is early detection, which slows the disease progression timeline and promotes healthier aging, makes elderly independent and confident through self-diagnosis. For the health provider, we are enabling technology-enabled care delivery, which is more accessible and lessens the healthcare burden. Next, the business model we are focusing on is a B2B2C, which focuses on revenue sharing model with healthcare provider, revenue generation from SOC and app, revenue generation through ads on the app from diabetic lifestyle device manufacturers. Next, our go-to-market strategy is to focus on urban population, especially patients with smartphones, and our pilot study will be conducted in Chennai, which has about 15.6% of diabetic patients in India. Next, this is the timeline which we are going to follow. Next. As you can see in our market analysis that we are a unique product which caters for early diagnosis, comparison of trends, prognosis, in-app consultation, and complete diabetic foot care solution. Next.
That's all that we have for today.
Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, this is our team. Thank you. We're open for questions.
Richard, whenever you're ready, you can get started.
I'm not so familiar about the Indian healthcare system, but does how does the business model intersect with who bears the risk and who's going to pay?
So in India, what we need to understand is the patient is the one who is going to pay for the device. There are two models which we're looking at. The device is going to be available over the counter and the doctor can suggest the device to the patient, or we can replace biothesiometer, which is a very expensive device in the hospital right now, which tests for vibration perception. So ours is an affordable and a cheaper alternative for that. So you can either use it at a hospital. At the same time, we are allowing for portability and remote monitoring of diabetic peripheral neuropathy as well. So it can be with the patient and at the hospital, both places.
So the range in cost would vary between 4,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees, the risk in terms of investment. So a person who's not diagnosed would spend anywhere around 4,000 rupees for treatment, and a person who's not diagnosed at an early stage would spend around 20,000 rupees per month for treatment.
Whenever you're ready, you can answer or ask your question.
And where does it stand in terms of research, in terms of vibration and temperature being a good indicator for future neuropathy?
Absolutely. So the very first test which is conducted in diabetic clinics, especially in India, is a biothesiometer test, which is a vibration perception test. So the sensitivity is about 92% for vibration testing. There are also nerve conduction testing which are done, which is more accurate compared to that of vibration. So actually the next slide, if you can just go, we have also mentioned that one of our future prospects is to include the nerve conduction testing as well. Now, considering the fact that it's an invasive test, nerve conduction test, and we really wanted to focus on a non-invasive solution for now, but we are definitely looking at nerve conduction and EMG testing further.
Thank you. That is all the time we have for today. Please give everyone a big round of applause. We are now done with all of our presentations. We are so proud of you guys. Just everyone, please give a hand. Please clap. You can clap on Zoom.